Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Main Character Syndrome. I'm your host, Cheesymanfredo, aka Alfredo Morales. And with me here, as always, Julian, my Julian. Say hello.
Hey, hello. Thank you for listening to this episode.
Yes, nice. Thank you. And before we move on with the episode, I'd like to say thank you to our previous guest of Super Spo. We talk about the American Dragon in the last episode. And then we quickly changed topics. The titles for the episodes are never really accurate to like what exactly we talk about in them. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of too lazy to figure out what is mostly the big thing we talk about in this episode. But I don't got that time. I don't get paid to make this podcast. Anyway, Spiral's here.
Hello, it's me. I'm Spiral.
He's back.
Art royalty right here. This guy did an album cover for a ska album.
This guy thinks he's hot shit because he did an album cover.
Well, it was a single.
It was just a single, fellas.
Don't get too excited.
He thinks he's Mr. Big Dick at the house show.
Daft Punk is playing at my house.
Oh my god. They're broken up. They wouldn't do that.
That's how you know someone's big. They can just get broken up acts to play at their house.
I remember that reminds me of like back in the day, before the internet. They would like this. I think this was the 50s. This would happen, but so like there was no like real way to check if you went to a show, to a concert, and it was the actual band playing. Like you just have to trust that that's the band, right? That was a real thing.
Yeah.
Because there's you ever heard of the band called the Zombies?
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
Their biggest hit was that one song, what's your name? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Nah, is he rich like me? You know that song? Yeah. That was their biggest hit. So anyway, notoriously they hated each other. And they broke up pretty early in their career, right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, no one in America knew that. So what would happen is that like people who ran venues would just kind of like get like I guess just white guys that kind of looked like them, and they would just perform shows across the country, and there'd be different like white guy groups happening at the same time in different states, right? That would make it physically impossible for them to be moving around this quickly across the country, right? Like people are going to a zombie show and like that's not the actual fucking zombies, right?
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it is pretty hilarious. And what's super funny is that eventually this got the actual zombies got word of this, and it got so bad that they decided to reform again, right?
Just purely out of spite.
Yeah, just really out of spite, right? Like, what the fuck? and then what's so funny is that because this is all fate. Like then they released some of their best fucking albums after this.
Nice,
right? Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome.
Just need the right motivation.
Yeah, and what's another interesting thing, and I'm just like, if anyone could already tell, I'm just like quoting word from like a 12-year-old like crack.com video, but one of these fake bands became a real band, and they became ZZ Top.
Oh.
Yeah. You know ZZ Top, right? I know we were all like post millennials or whatever the fuck, but y'all know who ZZ Top is, right?
I gotta admit that I am not familiar.
They did their most popular hit was nothing but a sharp dressed man. That song.
Never heard it.
Really? They have beards. They have like beards and
Okay.
shades. That's like their look.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
I thought they were so cool when I was a kid.
That's very. I would have never guessed that. You're a big ZZ Top head when you were a kid.
Not big, like when your music palette is just like Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson family adjacent bands and the odd like MTV starlet. You look at something like ZZ Top or Ziggy Marley and you're like, wow, real music. Which is a shallow way to look at it, but I was a kid.
I didn't like actually develop a taste in music until I was in like high school or something.
Damn.
So
I was
pretty music illiterate.
I think I was pretty. Oh, you know what? I feel like I feel like I have stolen valor when I'm at at a party with people around my age, and they start playing stuff like I'm trying to think of the song. They start playing stuff like uh maybe like Green Day or yeah, I guess Green Day would fit because I didn't grow up listening to Green Day, even though that would have been the era. I was like listening to like Sean Paul and Daddy Yankee and
Oh man, Sean Paul.
right.
I haven't heard
And
that name in years.
that was mostly because of my cousins, you know. I was listening to more R&B, hip hop and like rap growing up, and it wasn't until like I guess more and more white people started popping up at the schools I was going to. I would hear more about this, right? So like, you know, I'm like out there singing like fucking American Idiot and like nah, I didn't grow up listening to American Idiot. It's Stolen Valor.
Got gentrified.
Yeah, I got gentrified slowly.
The music that I would listen to growing up, my sibling had all the fucking what's it called? Now that's what I call music CDs. So that was like
classic.
That was my taste in music by proxy.
Yeah, it sounds about right. My taste was like I think once I like slowly left my cousin's shadow, I was like just getting into kind of like rock and roll stuff, kind of like Queen and the Beatles. I really got into the Beatles and like I know everyone Beatles overrated, right? I get it, a bunch of white guys, but like
they're overrated, sure, but like, you know, they're not bad.
They're not bad. The two key things that the Beatles had specifically about their like kind of like earlier work was that the majority of their songs were short and, you know, they were actually talented, you know, so that helped. I could like binge through a shitload of Beatles songs. I'm like, oh, I love this. I love this. Oh, this is good. Oh, the Beatles are great.
That's how I feel about early David Bowie. Like a lot of it is just like sing-songy nonsense, but it's so technically good that I can just like listen to it all day.
I gotcha. You reminded me of something real fucking quick. What the fuck was it? I got distracted because I looked on Twitter and I saw a Bigfoot meme and I was like, haha. That's the experience.
Funny Bigfoot.
What's that thing people say? Neuron activated.
I'm like a believer in Bigfoot, but like in a meme kind of way. Like I believe in all cryptids in a meme kind of way. Like I don't believe in it. I believe all that shit is bullshit, but like if I hear a sound, I assume it's just Bigfoot by default.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Gotta be Bigfoot. No other way. I am actually, you know what's in Spirals here? I could tell this bit. But I've been every time I like start a new job where they give us the option to like play music, I always like choose like Cassiopeia. You guys know Cassiopeia?
I do actually.
Yeah, they're a Japanese like jazz fusion like funk band. Guys. Yeah, and they were like pretty big in the late 80s to 90s. And I think they're still making stuff now because they reunited recently. Because their popularity, it's like nostalgia has been playing in, and it's like they're the ultimate like, YouTube just recommends you good music kind of thing, right? You know, they're like I guess city pop like adjacent. I wouldn't necessarily call them city pop, but what's very funny is that every time I introduce new people to this, like oh, you ever heard of this? And they're like, oh, this sounds pretty good. And I'm like, and they can't describe the words. Or if I try to find I always try to find like a very palpable way to describe like a piece of work to someone. So for Cassiopeia, I'm like, you ever heard of Sonic music? Like when you ever played a Sonic game and you know the music they play? This is what that sounds like.
You played Sonic CD.
You ever played Sonic CD? You ever played Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut for GameCube? Right, and a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, that's what that sounds like, right? It's like spot on. I had a similar story when I used to work at a cafeteria back in my community college days. I played Vaporwave. I played the you know which Vaporwave album I played, the one everyone knows.
The one with the fucking Roman guy head on it.
Yeah, exactly. Macintosh, Flower Shop, whatever the fuck it's called. That I played that whole album at work, and my coworker later asked me like, "Why did you play PS2 menu music?" That was pretty awesome.
Not even close, but good try.
I feel like it's funny. It's like close. It's funny how like it's funny hearing people describe things that aren't like well aware of I guess don't have the full vocabulary to describe something as like accurate, so they try to come close. It reminds me of that one the one line from the movie Attack the Block when the kids are trying to describe what the aliens look like. So they're like big gorilla wolf motherfuckers. It's such a fucking awesome line.
That's a great fucking movie.
That's a 10 out of 10 movie. I'm sad that they're gonna make a sequel. John Boyega was like, "Oh yeah, we're making a sequel," and I'm like,
"Oh no,
do we have to though?" The block was attacked. Like it gotta happen again. Haven't black people suffered enough
of the block getting attacked? It's been attacked.
What are they gonna call it?
Do it one more time.
Block attacked again. They come back.
They're attacking the block again.
Right.
Exhibition on the block.
It's very. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe. I mean, I've been surprised before, right?
Yeah.
Someone say something while I take off my hoodie.
Maybe it'll be a subversion. Like maybe there won't be an attack, and the attack is in their minds.
Be a mental attack. In the block.
The mental,
like they still have PTSD
damage
from the original night or something, and they're all like going through it emotionally.
The psychic damage attack block, a psychic attack on the block. What was I gonna say? I saw this Big Joel video where he was talking about an article where like did you do you not like Big Joel?
I think he needs to. Do you know what? He needs to groom himself better. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh no! This is coming from a guy who used to love Digibro. Like I find this hard to believe. I think there might be a bias.
I wouldn't say I ever loved Digibro.
I didn't love Digibro.
What are you talking about? I totally didn't have dreams about Digibro in my bed every night. What are you talking about?
He was talking about how there's an article where someone was saying that actually all those Palestinian deaths are equal to the psychic damage Hamas is giving Israelis. And
it's like, wow.
Jesus fucking Christ, kill me.
What do you mean by that? God.
What do you mean by that? Do you think the Palestinians aren't also getting psychic damage too? Like they're getting that and they're actually getting killed.
And physical damage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not really a comparison you can make.
Right, it's awful. It's very funny, like abuser.
Yeah.
Total abuser talk. What was I gonna mention earlier? I'm still slowly figuring out how to take the title of Digibro after all these years. I haven't quit. I'm kind of like Gargamel on the Smurfs, who's like he's still trying to eat those Smurfs after all these years, or something.
You gotta do is just make a channel called Digibro 2, and
Digibro 2, and
I don't know, bring back the Whirling Dervish podcast or whatever the fuck that was.
Oh no, I hate that podcast. That podcast sucked. I think I was already kind of like on the fence about like my opinions of Digibro at the time, and that Whirling Dervish podcast really fucking like, oh my god, just damn. I don't know, maybe like you don't want to over podcast yourself because eventually you run out of things to say, so you have so the only thing left for you to say is all the shit that makes you look like an idiot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you run out of like
she never had that cap.
Right, exactly. Like, you know, because it's all about being authentic, and I guess it worked. I mean, people are still giving her money, right? Like, you know, so
are they? She's not doing anything anymore, is she?
Oh yeah, people are still patroning.
Isn't she doing like life advice stuff on?
Oh no,
it's a whole splattering of things. There are that's actually new channels dangerous. That I haven't looked at.
Yeah,
people still watch. They still watch the live streams. But at this point, I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to know.
All right.
I have grown into a person that no longer requires a digital brother.
December 12th, I read the entire anime encyclopedia twice. That's so cool. I'm so happy you did that. What the fuck? I thought this was a Patreon. Like, is her Patreon still up? Nah, no, that can't be. Okay, wait, I found it. Because she recently split her Patreon to be like, I guess to split it with her husband or fiance. I don't know if they're married yet. You know.
Famously, you can't trust what she says because she will exaggerate. Date
right,
someone.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, this is my spouse. No.
Oh, 6 months ago, she posted a video called "I'm Unretired."
Oh, cool.
So I guess she's back.
I remember the original retirement video. It was like hours long live stream where she denounces every person that was ever like associated with her brand, and then walks into the distance like the end of a 90s.
Oh, she was like at
movie.
she was like in a bridge, right? Like she was on a bridge. Yeah. I'm retiring. Yeah, that was 1 year ago.
And there were those two guys that I've never seen before that were also there.
And then the video right after that is baby stabber, 6 stab fix in 666 seconds. What the fuck does that mean?
Hell?
She was doing AMVs. I'm unretired. Subscribe to We Watch Anime. Oh boy.
Did you guys ever see Fame? That TV sitcom Fame?
I have not.
That sounds familiar. Wasn't that like a reality show, or am I like tripping?
I've heard of the movie, but I've never heard of the show.
It was a TV show about teenagers, entirely fictional, trying to become famous while living normal life. Janet Jackson played a character in like the first season of the show, I think. And whenever I see a character like walking out of frame, but they're like going backwards, I think about her exit from that show.
Okay. So
it's very, we need you to care about this character leaving.
Okay, she's got 125 paid members. Okay. And the highest you could go is like $15 a month. All right, so let's do some quick math right here. I'm doing this super fast, so I could be fucking wrong. She could be potentially making 1,875. That's a dumbass
Good Lord.
number. Damn, she could be. God, damn it! I wish I was making this much at least. I could be paying fucking rent. Jesus Christ!
You just got to sit down and watch some animes and then talk about it, I guess.
What would be my Digibro name? I guess Cheesymanfredo is already a fucking name, right?
Yeah.
Right. What I need is I need to upgrade my phone because it's garbage, and I need a pair of shades. But I was born with a deformity, and that deformity is having a huge ass fucking head. So shades like barely fit me. So I need to like find an alternative.
Should have bid on those Digibro shades.
You'll need something to differentiate yourself. What you need is like one of those Kamina visors.
Oh yeah.
That way people know you're the real deal.
I never liked Simone's like follow-up visor to the
star glasses. I think those rock.
I think it was like do I need that extra point on that? I mean, look, it's been a minute since I've seen that anime, so maybe
I don't know, they're in space. It makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. Who am I to say? I guess known creator, wacky, kooky space guys. So who am I to judge? But I need to upgrade my phone. I need to find shades that cover my face. Record myself being like, you ever notice that Whiplash is kind of like Midsummer? And then talk about that for an hour. Right.
People love stuff like that.
Yeah, I had this whole thing about like, I think I know why Oda gave Luffy stretchy powers. And I was tempted to make that into a Twitter thread, but I'm like, I feel like there's like too much information here. There's too much. It's in that middle ground of like, it's too much information to just say on Twitter, but it's not enough that I'd be so interested in writing it down, you know. I'd rather just casually talk about it. Where is that viable? That's not like viable anymore, right? Like just being a person that casually talks to the camera. You gotta be like,
isn't that like Big Joel's whole thing? Everyone watches Big Joel.
Yeah, but like the big, like he does the like the Little Joel stuff as kind of like a little like parasitic twin to the
I haven't watched a Big Joel video in a long time.
Well, he uploads them like
isn't that pretty much the same thing?
No, he uploads the Big Joel videos are different. Like the Big Joel videos are like he has like a thorough opinion on something. The last one he did was about his dad dying.
But he's still just talking to the camera, right?
Kind of. There's a little bit more production value to the Big Joel ones. The Little Joel ones are like mostly like he might have a quick idea, or he might just make a quick shit post.
I guess it's been a while since I've seen a Big Joel video. My brain has been poisoned by all this.
I'm a Big Joel defender. Sorry. Sorry, gamers. I'm a big... The day Big Joel falls will be the day I fall. Oh my god. I wonder if James Somerton is still making money. Maybe, right? There's gotta be people that are paying
I doubt
him,
it.
Right?
Didn't he take down his Patreon?
That'd be smart, right? That'd be the smart thing to do. YouTuber accused of plagiarism, NBC News. Damn.
In his apology video, he was saying that he wanted to keep it going, and then he would have some sort of mechanism set up to allow him to share the revenue with the people he stole from. But maybe that wasn't actually like worked on after the fact, because everyone's response was like, no, fuck you, don't do anything.
Aftermath article, please stop asking me to sue James Somerton. I guess this is made by one of the persons who got plagiarized by James Somerton saying like, I'm not gonna sue that guy. I don't even think you'll get like a crazy amount out of that, you know?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. Still tempted to do my ultimate plagiarism video where every line in the video would just be something I plagiarized. I just have to pick a topic everyone has an opinion on, you know? Yeah. And then I can just fucking swipe. Just take every line, you know?
I complain about it all the time, but Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance is probably one of the most over video essayed video games I've ever seen. You could just like steal from everyone.
and they're never that good either. It's fucking like, maybe Senator Armstrong had a point. Oh yeah, you think Senator Armstrong had a point, motherfucker?
Yeah, or just like very baseline reads of the warlord characters, like nothing ever like too in depth. It's just, wow, how did they predict this? Well, you see, American politics is a infinity spiral.
I'm so out of the loop on Metal Gear. I don't know shit about it. I've never played it.
You don't have the brain poisoning.
Damn. I haven't either.
I'll get it eventually.
Eventually, I'll play Metal Gear. Like, I'll eventually, what's the thing? I'll eventually rewatch Gurren Lagann. I'll eventually...
I do that every year.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. that explains you little freak, you little demented little goblino.
It's true.
It's true. It's in my bones. What was I gonna? Oh yeah. So I've been rewatching Adventure Time. I'm halfway through it, and I think we're just gonna go all the way. Just watch everything I missed out on because they were. I was in my anti-SJW era towards like the later half of Adventure Time, and I think
not a fan of woke Venture Time.
No, once Adventure Time went woke, I got comments kind of like that when I did the Adventure Time RPG picture. Not exactly people complain about woke, but people saying like, "Oh, I would kill for a pre-lore Adventure Time game." It's a very funny phrase, pre-lore. Oh man, these are a pre-lore Adventure Time game.
It's funny, like people love. I don't know. I love all that shit, all the Adventure Time lore. It's so cool.
I think it's like interesting. I think I'm enjoying Adventure Time. I mean, now I'm mature, right? You know, you gotta be. but also
takes a developed brain to truly enjoy Adventure Time.
I think, yeah, like, you know, I'm an adult now. I understand. I grew. I learned as a person. You know, I watched Steven Universe. I became a better person.
That's what I'm always saying.
Right,
if you fix your brain if you watch Steven Universe.
Thank you, Rebecca Sugar. You have saved me. I was going down a dark, evil path until she showed me the light. You know. But
POV. I'm 15 years old. I think I should kill people. Rebecca Sugar puts a hand on my shoulder. Don't do that.
Yeah, I can make a difference. I can make a change. Damn, you right.
Wow, I can't believe I was so wrong.
I was so wrong. You're right, Steven. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's crazy how much like it's crazy when you can binge shows and then like in your brain you have an idea that several episodes are kind of just sprinkled around in different seasons, but no, a lot of shit just happens one after another in Adventure Time, like just binge watching it because I'm like, oh yeah, the same season Princess Bubblegum creates another lemon grab. It's the same season that Lemon Hope shows up, and I was like so sure that Lemon Hope happened like seasons later, and I'm like, that's so fucking insane.
They do a couple Lemon Hope episodes like later in the series, right?
Yeah, they do.
I hate those. I hate Lemon Hope.
I fucking hate Lemon Hope hater club.
He is a fucking bastard, but
I think
unfortunately that is the point of his character. He sucks.
I'm only aware that Lemon Hope is in that season because like I just while I'm watching it I'm like flipping through the titles of the future episodes and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that Lemon Hope was literally the season finale for this season. All that Flame Princess stuff happened in one season.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that is fucked up. It feels like
fucking Frost and Fire episode is like my 9/11. I hate that episode so fucking much.
Why they didn't have to do that? It has some Ice King in it.
You know what's my 9/11?
Are good episodes.
What's my 9/11 episode is fucking when Betty comes back. I was like, oh. No. It's like I haven't got to it again yet, but I bet on the rewatch maybe I'll have a different opinion. But
I'll defend Magic Betty. I like it.
I think what I don't like is the moment she pops in, she's like, I understand how all of this works now. And it's like
well, she kind of didn't. She was like putting it together as she went along. She just had a thesis from the get-go.
I guess.
Apropos of nothing.
I guess, but I hate women, and that's
like when she steals Magic Man's magic. That was after like looking at wizards off screen for.
I haven't
months.
Like got it. That's not the episode that I have a problem with. It's when Betty shows up, that whole episode, because she like defeats like an evil wizard in the same episode, right?
Yeah,
and
that was
it felt like too much, and
you know what? I actually kind of agree with that. Like, I don't mind that she came back. It's just they could have done it in a way was less. I don't know. She couldn't have. There's no way she could have actually defeated that wizard. Like,
if I may, I'm going to go into intersectional feminist mode right now. But when am I not? But something that I think is kind of interesting with the whole like. Dare I say Mary Sue trope, if you will. I don't think it's a bad thing, hot take, but I think what it is a result of like, because we're lacking in so much representation with women, there's kind of like a need to overcompensate because you're trying to like you're trying to make up for lost time, and I don't think that's a bad thing because you're gonna fumble it because because something that always goes back to is that no one ever like, oh wow, that last Transformer movie bombed. Maybe we shouldn't try white guy main characters anymore. No one ever fucking says that, but like one movie bombs with a lead woman, or like they say like maybe they don't want to watch movies with women, but no one's ever like, oh maybe they don't want to watch movies with white guys. You ever thought that, motherfucker? Yeah, it's silly, But people get into that mentality, so they're all like, oh, Mary Sue, Herm, but it's dumb, it's stupid.
But I wonder what the box office performance for those Underworld movies were, because those like are consistently female.
Those movies were like so January core. They were like the kings of January. That and Resident Evil, their sibling series.
Yeah.
Right. I hope one of my dream is to eventually make a franchise that's January core that just rules over January like a tyrant. Oh man, one of these days it'll happen. They'll make me the Kevin Feige of the Dark Universe when I reboot it. Cheesymanfredo, we need you. And
they definitely need it.
Yeah, they do. They're gonna love my epic Dr. Van Helsing versus Dr. Frankenstein movie, and it's gonna be the start of the Dark Universe. You'll see. You'll all see.
Is Universal with NBC?
Is it?
I think I remember hearing that in NBA video.
I gotta delete all these tricksy fucking tabs I have open. Universal, NBC. Yes, media company. Comcast.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Peacock has any cinematic universes under its belt, so you're probably a shoo-in.
Spiral, you're on the West Coast, right? Not to dox you.
Yeah, I am.
You ever like gone down to LA?
A couple times. I used to live closer to it, but not
cool. Did you ever drive by the Comcast building?
Not that I remember.
I remember like one of the first time I went on a friend's trip to LA, we drove by the Comcast building and we're like, that's like the Umbrella Corp building to us. That's an evil building filled with evil people. It was great. It was interesting. We went to I think it was a Halloween party at CalArts is what we went to.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Yeah, high roller.
There's been 2 occasions where I've been to a party to LA due to like, okay, the CalArts one because my buddy went to CalArts, but I know what you're thinking. He wasn't an animation student. He was a film student. So
okay, whatever.
And I know your next question. Did he become a huge fucking drug addict? Yes, he did, but that's unrelated. Stop asking me.
I figured that was a given.
Right, exactly. I remember that Halloween party because I forgot what I was dressed up as. Well, what the fuck was I? Was I a clown? Maybe.
That would make sense.
I'm just gonna assume I had a couple of proto Pasta the Clowns during that era, but I remember like my buddy introduced me to this one girl who was dressed like Mandy from Billy and Mandy, and like she was cute, and I think he was trying to set me up, and and I guess she was like this artsy kind of edgy girl, because he's all like, oh, Cheesy owns a copy of a Serbian film, right? And she's like, oh, you do? And I was like stupid drunk and high. I was like mumbling my words.
No.
I was like, damn, no, fumbled. It was a very interesting party. That was the first kind of like interesting party I was invited to at CalArts. Actually, my only CalArts party. But the second LA party I went to was last year because I got invited by Lex Updog.
I remember you telling me about this one.
Yeah. I think I talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, because they were just moved in. They were having a housewarming party, and I was like, well, LA is technically close to where I live, right? I drove up. It was pretty cool. I think I mentioned that Common Etiquette was there. And
yeah.
And he paid for our Denny's after the after party.
Nice.
I think he liked me though. I think I was cool. I think I was acting like a normal person.
He went home that day and he was like, oh, I didn't get that Mexican guy's number. Shit.
That guy was fucking cool. I gotta collab with him. We gotta bring him to the next creator clash. Those aren't gonna happen anymore, by the way. Epic. Yeah, just bragging about the parties I've been to. But nah, I don't fucking do that shit. Oh, my birthday was like, I think I mentioned it in the last podcast. My birthday just happened, and we played that one like drawing party game where you like get in a line, and the person behind everyone has like a piece of paper and a Sharpie, and they draw the person at the end of the line starts like drawing, and the person that they're drawing on has to draw on their sheet of paper. Like they have to match the strokes they're doing to see if they can match whatever picture they're drawing.
Match the strokes.
Yeah, they gotta match strokes. They got a stroke.
What is this next level jerk off instruction activity you're describing?
You guys never heard of this game?
No, I've heard of it before.
Yeah, it was a stroke matching. Oh god, you're making it sound like a fucking like.
They gotta do what?
It's like the rhythm heaven like porn, which is real. I've seen it. It's there.
Oh, we've all seen it.
I'm aware. I refound that fucking WarioWare porn that someone made on Newgrounds. I'm like, ooh, gotta add this to my favorites because it comes up in conversation a lot, and I gotta keep track of these things.
gotta keep it on hand.
Right, exactly. You know. Oi, man. So what are y'all been up to? What do you guys been doing?
A few days ago, well, I guess about a week ago at this point, I went to the Sonic Symphony World Tour.
Oh yeah, I saw a lot of people doing that. How was it? Was Sonic there?
He was.
Nice.
He was on Jin Senoway's guitar.
Nice.
And it was really fucking cool. Before the show, Jin Senoway was just we all know who he is, right?
Yeah. He's a Sonic music guy.
Yeah. He was just
that was a guess.
He's the sound director, and he's part of Crush 40.
Nice.
And, he was just.
I was just about to say Crush 40 as a joke, but like then you say, "Oh, he's part of Crush 40." Okay, never mind.
Yeah, go on. Answers.
He was just standing outside in the hallway of the venue,
and he was smoking.
He's just like waiting because he was just signing stuff that people brought him, and like there was almost nobody in the line. It's like nobody knew he was there.
And you went up to him like, "Oh, I'm a big fan," and you want him to sign your fucking Sonic CD, and he put out a fucking cigarette on it, and he's like, "There you go, kid," and he walked away.
Nah, he signed both of my Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 vinyls, and took a picture. It was pretty sick.
It'd be really funny if you got to sign something that he wasn't involved in.
Mr. Senoway, can you please sign my copy of Never Dead?
It's like that fucking Thundercat video you sent me.
Oh yeah. Last night, because I was late night doodling, and I was listening to like someone recorded a whole Thundercat live performance. I listen to every Thundercat live performance because I love Thundercat. But also I just need background music, and there's one part where like. Specifically that performance, there was a lot of audience members just giving him GIF. Like before he started singing his do-rag song, someone like in the audience had a whole ass painting of said do-rag and they gave him to him, and he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, how did he sneak that in? Did he he must be someone connected to the venue, because like I don't know if they would have been like, no, you can't bring that in because that's something you could potentially hit someone with that.
Yeah.
Right. The other guy was someone who had like a copy of Sonic Adventures 2, and Thundercat saw it in the crowd. I guess he was sticking that out, and he's like, "Oh shit! Like, oh, you got that thing on?" And he's like, "You want me to sign it?" And they passed it, and they got it fucking signed for him. That's awesome. I can't remember if he's made too many references to Sonic in his music. He's made it mostly like he likes Mortal Kombat. He likes Street Fighter. He likes Dragon Ball Z, obviously. Haha.
Yeah.
Haha. You get it? Yeah. But he's a huge weeb. And he's got a song about going to Tokyo, and he says that everything in the song is true. And there's a part of the song that makes me think like, that's kind of fucked up. Was the part where I think he was thinking about getting a Japanese woman pregnant so he could get citizenship to stay in Japan. Like, that's what I think the word is implying. Like, it was premeditated, trying to get someone pregnant. It wasn't my fault. I'm just kind of psychotic. Right? Like,
that's pretty clear to me.
Yeah, like, that sounds like, and then, like, I don't know.
You're allowed to have, but should not vocalize.
And then he did the ultimate guy thing. He did the ultimate guy thing by saying, like, it wasn't my fault. I was kind of psychotic. And Goku fucking ruined me. He's trying to blame this on Goku for being a fucking huge weeb, right? He was just talking. He does that sometimes in the show, like any artist, just talks about like his life. And he said, "Oh, the first time I went to Japan was 18." And when I heard that, I'm like, "Wait, hold up, wait a second." And then like I checked his wiki. I smell a nepo baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it is. Oh, his dad was a fucking artist for several very popular bands. And his uncle was this importing guy. he had a lot of family members and friends of family that were big people in the music industry. And I'm like, no, not you, Thundercat. No, he's a nepo baby.
That's why I stay out of music. I hate that.
Right. I mean, you're a nepo baby, right, Julian?
If I engaged in that manner, I unfortunately have made the life-ruining decision to become a comic artist, which I cannot abuse.
that was my first mistake too. I should have listened to my elementary school teachers and just done the next Garfield. I could have been rolling in it. But no. Someone thought it was be super funny to draw clown titties and make that their whole brand. Someone thought the genius move.
What a fucking idiot.
What a fucking idiot, dude. Someone should kill that guy.
Clowns in this economy?
Are you insane? Are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you? Who the fuck is DMing me?
Go back to the Sonic Symphony for a second.
Yeah, go on.
I had no idea that the first half was all symphony. Like they just did a bunch of orchestral versions of a bunch of music from the series, and then they went into the second half was a rock show. And I had no idea who the singer was going to be. I had just assumed like all of Crush 40 was going to be there. But no. Jun Senoway was the only one, and it was
all 40 of them.
It was a Casey Lee Williams, the singer for all the Ruby songs.
Oh,
which was a fucking huge surprise for me.
That's interesting. Has she been involved in anything Sonic?
Nope.
That's interesting. She might just be, I guess, a fan, right?
Yeah, they just from what I'm
another nepo baby.
They just find local people or whoever wants to go on tour with them for a couple shows or whatever.
That's cool.
To do the vocal songs. It's really good.
I've ever listened to those Ruby songs and like want to punch yourself in the face for enjoying yourself?
It's fine. Who cares? You can like Ruby songs, not Ruby the show. That's a different conversation.
I don't know. I mean, I was recently. My partner had me watch it.
You had fun. And, I mean, it might be. I don't know. You can enjoy things. It's fine.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I?
You know, I think there's okay. We'll say up to season of volume 3, the animation, the character animation, fucking rough, almost unwatchable at points. But but volume 4 is like a unbelievable, like, well, I don't know about unbelievable, but massive step up.
What was the season? Was that like pre or post Monty Olam's death?
That was I believe that was the first one post his death.
Interesting. I'm not trying to connect anything. Interesting. What do you mean by this?
But I've only gotten up to volume 4 so far.
I think I love rewatching that H Bomber guy video about Ruby. I think there's a lot of like insightful things in there. I mean, like, I'm the kind of person that like I could see. I used to be very like nostalgia critic. How could anyone like this? Right, you know. But as I got older, I feel like there's gonna be. Here's my take on this. I feel like as an artist, if you want to get better, you should try to understand why people like things you don't like. You know, I feel like you do gain something from it. You know, like. You come to it. It's good to try to understand people. You know, that's a good quality to have. You know, you shouldn't be like.
See, I do that, and I just end up liking the thing out wholesale. So.
Well, because you're an empath, so like I'm not surprised, and because I have a buddy. He's one of my like best friends, like in the real world, not in the digital world, but He's one of my closest buds, and he's very anti like social media, right? He's always like 2 years behind on memes and whatnot, but whatever. I still love him. The guy is a really cool guy. That being said, when he came over, I showed him like the Amazing Digital Circus, and he was like, "How can anyone fucking like this?"
That's culture shock right there. That was cruel.
Yeah, because he's like, "This feels like Coco Melon." That's what he said.
Oh man!
And I'm like, that's interesting. Like, because I mean, I am interested in when people like don't like things I like, you know, because I think you gain a lot from that. Sometimes people don't like it because people don't like being scrutinized about the things they like, you know. Not everyone has their like fucking like 10 out of 10 like bulletproof iron curtain ass like argument of why they like Digital Circus or whatnot, you know. But yeah, he didn't like Digital Circus. He said like he's the kind of guy who always like, I showed him like the Pibby short right after, because I'm like, oh, what I feel like Digital Circus is like kind of like, and this it's kind of like post Pibby, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Don't use that as a. I can't. I hate that can be like used as a cultural landmark. Fucking Pibby.
I'll tell you this though, he loved the Pibby show. He thought like, oh yeah, this is better. I would watch 5 seasons of this. Oh yeah, no, I was like shocked too. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. 5 seasons. Because I'm the kind of guy who I don't feel like Pibby could have worked too much as a show. Right? It would be a show I would be too interested in watching. Because I feel like everything you would have gotten from the show, you got from that short, you know, and I don't think that.
Yeah,
like,
my dad would have looked at it and he would have said, they would just destroy every cartoon. Pibby will never fix our universe. And I'm like, Dad, shut up.
I think, like, I don't know, some people will have the rabbit guy. I don't know, like, I'm not convinced they're going to think of such a mind-blowing ass twist to, like, what the Pibby glitches are or whatnot, you
especially after seeing that concept art for the show that they were trying to pitch.
Yeah, it felt very like, okay, I don't know.
What if this guy was a big monster?
Right, yeah, it's like, okay, all right, you're right. What if he was a big monster? it gives me like fucking Scoob and Shag vibes, and I think people
your
have
infamous hatred of Scoob and Shag.
My infamous hatred of Scoob and Shag. It's not even like culturally relevant to people anymore. I'll say this.
We have Mr. Boop now.
We have Mr. Boop now. Oh man, I've become a hater towards Alex Robinson. I've been like not like, I don't like his tweets, and I think that's like eventually what happens. Like, you know, artists that you like, and then eventually you start hating them because of their fucking tweets.
Yeah, that's why I don't follow anyone that I like on Twitter, except for one guy.
Yeah, that's why. He only follows people he hates. That's why Julian follows me on Twitter.
Got to keep an eye on that cheesy guy.
Gotta keep an eye on.
Take a note of every single thing he says.
I know what you did. I know your crimes towards the Pizza Party podcast. I'm aware. But
he liked a spiral tweet. What did he mean by this?
Spiral tweet, I see.
Me, who makes so many original tweets.
True, exactly. I think you just mostly retweet stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless I have art to post.
True.
But Alec Robbins, I like his comics. I like Crime Hot. I love the Crime Hot.
I bet Crime Hot is good.
I bet Crime Hot is super cool. I've been meaning to like read it.
You'd probably like it.
Yeah. It looks up my alley. Right, but also some of his other tweets have been very like, I think I did not like his tweet on live action One Piece.
Yep. If you like this, you have no love for comics in your heart.
Yeah, and it's very like, I think also I think he was also like shit talking the Grimace Shake meme. Which I thought was kind of interesting. Really? Because he saw it as like, this is obviously like corporate like psyop used to boost like their product, and it's like, yeah, but it couldn't it also be like just teenagers on TikTok having fun? Like, isn't that like, yeah, like, oh, I bet more people tried the Grimace Shake after all that, right? But I don't know. I don't know, like what no ethical consumption under capitalism, yada yada.
It's really just not a big fucking deal.
It's one of those things that you're allowed to think, but you shouldn't say, because I think that about everything.
Like, call me a huge bitch, but I internalized that as, I think what he was secretly saying was, Cheesymanfredo, I will never read Mick Pagliacci. I feel like you're promoting a corporation I do not like. It's not like Mr. Boop, where the company actually does the fucking Betty Boop company still exist?
I don't know.
No, I think they sent them didn't they send them a cease and desist or something?
No, that was part of the comic.
Interesting. Who owns Betty Boop? And
unless
please
that
don't.
did happen in real life.
Fletcher Studios, owned for which the character is Fletcher Studios still around? Nah, what? They can't still exist.
As
right?
like a shell company, someone has to license out Coco the Clown.
Oh, a trademark on the name, but not legitimately. The likeness of Betty Boop is owned by Fletcher Studios, for which the character was created in the 1930s, but which was unable to claim copyright infringement in a 2008 district court case. The merchandise right to Betty name was licensed to Kingfisher Syndicate until 2021, sends the licensor to Global Icons Incorporated. Interesting.
Don't you just hate names like that? Global Icon Incorporated.
Yeah.
Is Betty Boop not public domain?
No, not yet. I think wasn't there's gonna be a Popeye short like public domain next year, I think. Oh man. I think with the whole talks about like we didn't even talk about the Mickey Mouse public domain stuff, but I think something kind of interesting because there is so many people out there who are convinced like there was no point of putting like that putting the Steamboat Willie in public domain because people aren't going to do anything interesting, and not realizing that the real argument should be like then things should go into the public domain a lot sooner then, instead of like years later, when like imagine if Steamboat Willie entered the public domain like at an earlier time. Imagine all the more amazing stuff we could have got out of. And I think also like people are so hung up on like things not being instantly good right away, I'm not surprised there's a bunch of shit, because good stuff takes a minute. Shit's easy. Yeah. Oh shit, I shit every day, dude. That's the easiest thing in the fucking world, right?
It's like sure, like everything that's coming out right now, everything that people are making based on it right now is just like something they've done on Robot Chicken 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there'll be good shit in the future, probably.
Which means Robot Chicken is, Robot Chicken was ahead of its time, right?
Right, of course. That's exactly what I meant.
That's the argument here, right? But I think people just need to they don't need things to be instantly good. I think, and I was trying to avoid talking about this, but it's still been in the back of my mind. I got into this huge ass argument in someone's Discord server. And I wasn't trying to have this argument. I know Cheesymanfredo is famous for his arguments or just saying something, then going to work and then seeing the conversation dwell to a bunch of stuff that's like, oh, I didn't read all that shit.
In fact, I saw one just like yesterday.
Right, exactly. And that was actually like the fucking the fallout of the actual argument. But like I was trying to think
with Raven?
Oh, not the Raven. Oh, not the Raven one. That one was kind of like I just woke up. That's my problem too. Sometimes I get into arguments when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have done that. Maybe I was too. I don't know. Sometimes Raven feels sometimes very cynical. I wish they would talk about things they like more often.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Like I like Raven. I think Raven is chill. But
yeah,
anyway.
I think they're funny.
Yeah. That being said, I got into a whole argument in the I won't say whose server or voice call, but it had to do with the movie Whiplash. And it just fucking and I wasn't even trying to have this argument because like this was actually part 2 of an argument that happened months ago.
So we've had this argument. Me and Spork had it with you like last year or something.
Well, here's the funny thing because it was it was you, Spork, and Oblivion, and Oblivion. Like I'll say Oblivion like unironically reignited this because what happened was that there was a huge argument where I was like I didn't like the ending of Whiplash. It really kind of like threw off the rest of the movie for me, and then and it became this big thing with me and Oblivion. And Spork was on his side. But then a couple months ago, Spork finally saw Whiplash. So she was lying in that first argument. Right. And she admitted she was mostly doing it to annoy me, which I should have not been surprised because she does that, right? Mm-hmm. And she said she after watching the movie, she has agreed more with me, right? Mm-hmm. And I was in a call with Oblivion and I brought this up. As like isn't this funny that this happened, right? But then Oblivion was so eager to want to argue about this, right? And it's like, and I'm pretty sure he'd probably say like, "Oh, that wasn't that. I wasn't eager to argue about this. Cheesy brought it up," and No, I wasn't trying to argue about that. I was trying to think this is a funny thing that Spork did, but whatever. Who cares? And it just became this huge kind of thing. And I think something like I guess as an aside to all this, because I don't really want to talk too much about this, but have you guys ever talked to, like, let's say you're just talking about a movie or whatnot, and someone either their opinion is that they really like the movie or they really hate the movie, it doesn't matter. But as they're kind of like meat, or they're like the reason why they like something is that they try to like connect it back to like some sort of thing that happened to them, or like some sort of kind of like, not exactly like identity politics, but something like because I guess another example is, 'cause I had a buddy who like was saying that the Blue Beetle movie was pandering. I haven't seen the Blue Beetle movie, but he hasn't seen it either, which was so weird that he had this take. But his vibe was that from the trailer, he's like, this movie obviously feels like it's pandering, right? And I'm like, how's it pandering? And then he said, well, like, well, as a Latino, and he brought up some random shit that is very unrelated, but he was trying to frame it as like this gives him validity. I feel like I'm all over the place with what the fuck I'm saying right now.
No,
I think I get it.
Because it's like, okay, me disliking something or me liking something, I've noticed kind of with certain people who don't have that strong a backing or like whatever, they like, you ever met someone that when you say you don't like a movie, they take that as a personal attack?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah, so like I'm like saying, because I feel like a lot of people, something I was hearing a lot was that like for Whiplash, a lot of people were kind of like projecting that as like something they have experienced, like, oh yeah, there was a piece of shit asshole in my life who made me better by just yelling at me and whatnot, but it's never like one-to-one what exactly is happening in Whiplash. But it kind of reminds me, and it's kind of like, oh, because I went through that abuse, it made me a better artist, right? And it's like,
yeah,
I don't really like that sentiment, because it's like, it reminds me of like, y'all seen BoJack Horseman?
Of course, I've seen BoJack. I rewatch that shit all the time.
So in the last season, when Diane is so like, she's frustrated because she just can't seem to make this like work of essays that she's always wanted to make,
fucking,
right?
The good damage bit.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, yes, exactly. Like then that's not good damage; it's just damage, and it's like, like that. Yeah, that's the fucking like what's happening in like Whiplash is people are trying to reframe. They're trying to be like, oh, this is like good damage, right? And it's kind of like what Diane is saying is like it's something that a lot of AFAB people kind of go through and they realize, not all of them, but it's very like it's a very common thing with AFAB people, and I think what we see in Whiplash is like the manifestation of like the AMAB version of that, where it's like, oh yeah, him, Fletcher being a huge piece of shit, that's like good damage. This is good damage to our character in like Whiplash. And I don't want to dwell too much on the whole shit too much. And I know I keep doing
now. It. I make a lot of allusions to this sort of trope in regards to other media, like how for a lot of people, Peter Parker like lifting up that concrete off of his back is kind of like a very vanilla version of that.
I think, I mean, I would say that one's like kind of different, right? Because he's in danger,
Yeah.
Like Peter Parker, like it's because like that whole scene, and and specifically the scene for the comics, I hate the version they did in the movie.
That barely counts.
Yeah, I think the one in the comics, he's thinking about like it's not just his life on the line, it's his aunt's life, because if he's not there, she's literally gonna die because she needs like the cure that the bad guys have, right? And so this is like, what gives him the strength to like overcome, it's about giving a shit about people, and I think like with Whiplash, there's a kind of like the thing that was kind of troubling me was that everything about the movie is like, oh, this guy's like a bad person, right? And they're saying it in like very subtle ways, right?
Yeah.
like very so. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, I like, oh, this was so good. Like then, but that's like my major problem was like, oh, this was so good until like the very end, you know. And I think I kind of don't like that. Like it's almost like things don't have to, like I'm not saying things are black and white, you know, but like there it feels like not that the characters are written in a hypocritical way. The characters aren't hypocritical. The movie is though, like the way it presents things, it feels a little hypocritical, you know.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like another thing too, where like when people talk about movies, and I'm not like, I feel like it sounds like I'm trying to toot my own fucking horn here, and I don't want to come off like that, but I feel like people only ever focus on characters in movies because that's easy, right? It's so easy to focus on actual person. What's hard is to like, what's really hard is to focus on the film itself, the way films present things, you know, right?
Yeah.
The more like, you know, the not just like the visuals, but the way visuals are shot, you know, that the presentation of the film is something a lot of people kind of like overlook, you know, because the way things are presented in movies tell you a lot about the movie, you know, right? And sometimes there's like directors or who or people who sometimes there's directors who like, you know, they like, you know, they're there, they do their job, they you know, they make, you know, they're probably friendly, everyone likes them, whatnot, but like they just kind of they just like shoot the shot and that's it. They don't like feel like they try to convey things too much with the shot, you know. And I guess going back for Spider-Man for a second, because I don't like how like in Spider-Man No Way Home, like the way they just shot like, oh, and Tobey Maguire is here. He just walks on screen, and it's like it feels so like this might be not ruined orgasm exactly, but it feels flaccid. You know, it feels like a very flaccid scene. You know,
the thing that they were trying to convey with the shot is give the audience enough time to clap.
Right, exactly, and that's so like, I don't know. It's like it could work, you know, but like there's probably an example of it like working because like, and this is why I think it's very crucial that people watch as many movies as you can, because I feel like if you don't watch as many movies as possible, you're gonna be stuck into thinking, oh, movies can only be this. Like if you only watch that's like a big problem with like those like anti-woke guys. They only watch mainstream movies, so their understanding of film is so fucking limited, you know, or they're just
honestly,
stupid.
If I were
a
misogynist, there's so much misogynistic cinema coming out of Belgium right now.
Oh yeah, no those misogynistic films like exist, you know, it's all out there. but what I'm saying is that it's very like, yeah, either A, they're really stupid, or B, they just lack they lack like the understanding of what film could potentially be, you know. It isn't just Marvel movies, you know, there's more stuff out there. There's more than just Fast and the Furious. There's more than fucking Transformers.
There's like Ted, there's like Ruby Gilman, there's Kraken,
there's Ted 2, you know.
Enola Holmes.
Right, exactly, you know, because it's like every time like I think it's a good thing that every time I there's something in a movie I don't like, I can instantly think of a movie that did it better. Like, like this whole, they're trying to like, the way they displayed the birth of this like gross codependent, this gross relationship, this toxic relationship being blossom at the end of Whiplash. Like it was done so much better in The Greasy Strangler, and I'm not fucking joking, because I think
I don't talk when you guys talk about Whiplash, because the whole time I'm just thinking, I liked the piano teacher more.
yeah, because I bet there's like things, you know, there's like I was like describing the movie to my partner, and they're like, oh, it sounds like Black Swan, and I haven't seen Black Swan, so maybe Black Swan is exactly the same, or it does like something kind of different. I was joking that like, oh, Whiplash is kind of like Boy, Midsummer, right? But like in Midsummer, I feel like have you guys seen Midsummer? By the way,
yeah.
Yeah, like the ending of Midsummer is like, it feels evil, you know. It feels like, oh, this is
See,
fucked,
that's like
right?
the thing that's because that's the feeling I came away from Whiplash with, and that was like, that was the disagreement that we had.
And I think that I'm not trying to like put anyone down because like, I think also it's like I think that's fine if like people felt like, oh well, Whiplash, if whatever kind of feeling like, oh, like I'm saying like I wish it conveyed this feeling in me, and other people are saying like, oh, it did convey that feeling for me, right? And it's like, okay, well, I think that's fine, but I feel like it didn't do it. It didn't convince me enough, right? And
yeah,
and I think that's ultimately like what it like hinges on, you know. I because like
I'm pretty charitable towards movies and like.
I think that's fine because like not everyone's like a weirdo freak about this stuff like I am, you know, and there's like way more freakier people about this. I think what I didn't like, and the reason why I'm still talking about this is that there were like the whole argument I was having. There were a couple of personal attacks being thrown at me for no reason, just because I didn't like that ending of Whiplash. I got like a couple of personal attacks, you know. And like people saying like, oh, you didn't get Whiplash because you have no ambition, and it's like, what the fuck?
Okay,
yeah, like I was getting that, like I was like, oh, you don't have ambition about.
That's the kind of argument I reserve for my worst enemy to like show them I don't respect them.
And it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck did this come from? You know, I got accused of no ambition. I got accused of something's wrong with my brain, right? I got
Jesus.
I got accused that I don't know what, like, because I was like, well, you know, the character of Fletcher is like homophobic. He's like throwing out slurs at people, right? Like he's obviously a sexist, and like people were saying like, oh well, you know, when I was like on the fucking internet, like doing my little fucking art thing or whatever, I was getting like homophobic comments, but I knew people weren't homophobic, and I'm like, no, I would just assume they're homophobic if they were using it as insults, you know, right? And because I think there's a difference between like the jokey, the ironic homophobia and the actual stuff, right? And and I guess that's why I'm so see, it's always just been a personal. It was a personal attack on me, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a Whiplash episode.
It's been a while since I watched it, but
I'm gonna like rewatch it. I'm gonna watch Black Swan, and I'm gonna watch Midsummer, the Ultimate Trilogy. You gotta watch The Greasy Strangler. I think that's my big recommendation.
We'll add that to my Letterboxd watch list right now.
Greasy Strangler and Greener Grass are like a really fucking perfect double feature. And what else? I think that's a bit. What's going on with you? You guys ever been Whiplash before?
No.
I'm getting whiplashed. I was thinking
that's
about
like my whole childhood. That's the reason why I don't watch those kinds of movies.
Dad, you're just like my dad. I hate my dad.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna start whiplashing you. I was thinking about making a comic where like a son is like, Dad, why did you abandon me? And the dad's like, I didn't abandon you, son. I was just whiplashing you. I was getting you ready for the world. My dad never abused me. He just whiplashed me. Oh, I'm getting whiplashed. Oh, my God. So what's up?
I was thinking I could just do a quick little
plug.
Yeah, plug for the single I did the cover for.
Oh yeah. If you post it here in the chat, I'll put in the video.
Yeah, let me just grab it real quick. It's for this little project called Indica in Decay. It's about it's like a synth rock opera about this sort of slummy little drummer who's named Indica, who she becomes part of a band of with this guy named Arthur, who has a magical guitar that writes perfect songs, but he kills himself, and she decides to take the guitar and and try to become like the big shit, you know?
That's cool.
And she's fucking slumming in the Bay Area. She's moved from band house to band house.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of she's working minimum wage jobs, so she wants to fucking get out of it.
Oh, okay. That's in this. You said it was a single, right?
Yeah. The one I did the cover for was a ska cover of one of the songs called "Coulda Shoulda Woulda," and the cover is called "Coulda Been Ska," and it's
that's pretty good.
The title is instead of Indica in Decay, it's Into Ska in Decay. And it's got a bunch of features. It's got a bunch of features from a bunch of Bay Area bands in it. They're all really good. Sad Snack, they're like one of my favorites. So I will get the image here.
Oh yeah, I've been
Here you go.
Nice. Yeah, this was drawn by you. You are right. Featured Flip and the combined efforts of Sad Sack, Holy Shinetsky. Is that what that says?
Holy Schnikes.
Holy Schnikes. Okay, I'm stupid. The Hellas Music Cube. I like that name, the Hellas.
Yeah, they're cool. Man. They're a Latino ska.
Oh yeah. I'm glad. Oh, now I'm 10 times more interested. God, I miss having a house with a garage. We used to do like live shows. We used to do house shows. It was pretty sweet because it got me more connected with the local community of people. Yeah, it's always neat. I can't do this out here. This bumfuck white ass senior citizen, same blue line.
Oof. Richard, they're playing music. Call the police.
The old ass white lady neighbor looks at me because she's like, "Oh no,
the devil's music."
Oh no, the Beaners, they're moving in. They're moving in. Oh no,
There goes the neighborhood.
There goes the neighborhood. They're playing their. When it was my birthday, I was scared that we were being too loud because I played the complete compilation of Dracula flows on the TV. To our 10 people guest get together, and everyone was dying. Everyone was fucking just laughing, and my buddy was kind of like, "Oh man, this is gonna be my personality now." I'm making too much money.
I don't know who I am anymore. Can you tell me who I am?
I took a DNA test. I'm 100% Himalayan. She wanted my dick, so I gave her crack. Oh my god, that guy is awesome. I hope it doesn't turn out he's a piece of shit. I would die. I would end it all. Oh my god. You guys ever think about branding and how bad your brand is?
Not at all.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to think. I wish my brain didn't default to that.
Every day I think I should hire one of those, teenage Twitter obsessed or TikTok obsessed teens and just have them do my social media for me, because I wake up, I draw, I interrupt myself from drawing because I'm like, oh, I've got to check my social media. I got to look at my stats. Do you guys look at stats, your fucking analytics?
Like literally never.
Moon nonsense.
I have my brain does the thing where it can't read math. Or no, I overlook like numbers, like on papers. I also do that with like Japanese words. Which is why I never learned the names of any of the My Hero Academia kids. They should have kept them simple like the Naruto kids. They had like 2-syllable names. Or 3. Naruto is 3 syllables, you're right. But yeah, I try not to take
like very analytics. Simple. Ino, Neji.
Right. Choji. I don't check the analytics because I feel like that's gonna be the start of me going insane if I do.
It is insanity inducing because
I don't have the capacity to care about it. It just like goes. It just glazes over my brain, and I don't think about it.
I think I'm fine with just being spiteful of mutuals who are more successful than me. I think that's the game plan. I think that works for me.
That's the way to go.
Plan. That's my plan. Yeah. Like, oh wow, I totally started making comics before this guy, and he blew up in under a year. Haha, that's so cool. I'm so happy for him. Nah, it's fine. I'm not that spiteful. I was a little bit more spiteful. I think I told the story before, but Bongo Luna was originally created out of spite. And that's pretty epic.
The original Spite comic.
The original Spite comic. They should make another. I think also all those little comics that make don't have a unified name. They're just kind of random. They just say Cheesymanfredo, so I just put Cheesymanfredo comics. Not too many people know. I personally, in my head, call them fart comics because I'm just like shitting them out.
This is what you people want to see, right?
That last one with the Flash. While I was drawing that, I was thinking like, "Oh boy, I hope Spyro likes this one."
And I did. Nice. It was great.
It worked. Mission accomplished. Right.
Strange, isn't it?
fucking just love that quote. It's so awesome.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah. God, MCU would never. We used to be a country. But I had another one in mind because I pitched it to my partner in the morning before I dropped him off at work, and I was like, okay, because I wanted to do one about magic beans, like Jack and the Beanstalk, and the first panel is a guy's like, I'll trade you your cow for these magic beans. And this other guy shows up like, hey, don't take that guy's magic beans. And the guy's like, is it because it's a scam? It's like, not just that, those magic beans are woke. and in but in the last panel, he's all like, take my magic beans. They're not woke.
I think that's pretty good.
Thank you. Okay, boom. There you go. That's all it takes. I love coming up with these ideas around people. Because like I just tell them on the spot, and then like depending on their reaction, that's usually what gets me to decide to like make a comic. Those kind of comics. Like everything else, I just do that because of me. But those, I think it's like, I don't know. I like to get like people's input like right away as soon as possible because they're supposed to be fast and loose, baby.
Mm-hmm. I wonder who Charles Schultz told jokes to beforehand.
Do you think he told people jokes? I always liked them. Who's the guy who called Charlie Brown popcorn nihilist? That was always like a good phrase, popcorn nihilist. It'd also be a good ass name for a band. Popcorn nihilist. Charlie Brown is a popcorn nihilist. No attack can even faze him as his perception of reality. Wait, hold up. Okay. Charlie Brown's a popcorn nihilist. No attacks can faze him as his perception of reality is so damaged and bruised he can't even perceive the real life events anymore. If you were to slice and dice him, you wouldn't even feel it because his mind is so far above any worldly mortal veil that he wouldn't be stricken down. His body parts would just fail to the ground, but his mind, the only true part of a man that matters, his mind and ideas would intact like a fucking encrypted file for the rest of time. For the most powerful warriors of all try to unlock. Try it and unlock by 4NDRWHE5513 on Urban Dictionary.
Wow.
Where did he?
That's all true. I sounded like you're reading from the Versus Wiki for a second.
Yeah, no, that was from. I typed that in, and like the first thing that popped up was like the Urban Dictionary. But I thought someone else came up with the popcorn nihilism. I thought it was like. Because it sounds like a whole like ass like Orson Welles quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever heard his quote on fucking God, who's the guy who fucking married his daughter? Woody Allen, right?
Yeah, Woody Allen. I was about to say Woody Harrelson. That's not right.
That's the guy whose dad was a serial killer.
Wait, what?
Oh, you didn't know that? Or his dad was like a hire assassin for the mafia, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was like the big thing Orson Welles on Woody Allen. I always love the fucking Orson Welles Woody Allen quote. It's so fucking good. He is arrogant, like all people with timid personalities. His arrogance is unlimited. Anybody who speaks quietly and shrivels up in company is unbelievably arrogant. He acts shy, but he's not. He's scared. He hates himself. He loves himself. Very tense situation. It's people like me who have carried on and pretend to be modest. The interviewer's like, does he take himself very seriously? Very seriously. I think his movies show it. To me, it's the most embarrassing thing in the world. A man who presents himself as his worst to get laughs in order to free himself from his hangups. Everything he does on screen is therapeutic. I think what he's getting at is that like if Woody Allen is such like but I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. Oh, I'm just a little guy. I know I have faults and flaws, but like you can't get mad at me about it because I'm just a little guy and I know I'm a little guy. Like I think that's where he's getting at. to translate that to Zoomers. He's such a little guy. It sickens him. Like, oh, look at this little fucking guy.
I hate that. Like, it's such a fucking pathetic way to like fucking live your life. Ugh.
True, right? And it works for him. You know, I think even
people loved him for it. People still love him for it.
People still love him.
I get self-conscious thinking about that quote though, because I have a lot of stuff that's like self-insert centric. And I can just hear Orson Welles in the back of my head, like, you piece of shit, you fucking loser.
Okay.
I don't know. Not a lot of people could live up to Orson Welles standards, so I wouldn't be too hard about yourself on it.
I mean, he was Unicron, so you know. That's pretty big.
There's like the Muppets and no one else or something. I don't know. True.
And what was I gonna say? I think that this is why I couldn't get into self-insert porn. And I think as a kid, I would play Legend of Zelda, and I think one thing that would always annoy me about every Legend of Zelda game would be like, oh, put your name. And I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking play as Alfredo the elf. I want to be Link. And then I just type in Link. I didn't want to use my fucking name because I knew the character's name was Link. Like, there's no point of me choosing the fucking character's name if I know he's named something else. Like, it's like, it feels baby. It feels like when you give your brother the controller that isn't connected, so they think they're playing, right? Like, oh, you're totally playing as Alfredo, the hero of the Triforce. No, dude, that's Link. I played Smash Brothers. That's what you call him in that game. Actually, that's what you call him in the booklet, motherfucker. Don't fucking
I also do that, but maybe for different reasons. Because my playthrough is the canon one. This is the one that actually happened. I do that with Pokemon. I named all the Pokemon characters have names, and I named them that.
I think I kind of let it slide with Pokemon because like there's like less of a thing. What is it? That thing that Scott McCloud was talking about in understanding comics. The more limited, like the more simple the design is, the more you could like relate to it, right?
Yeah.
Because like, oh, Link is specifically like a white guy, blue eyes, blonde hair. He has more of an identity, right? Mm-hmm. Whether like the tiny little sprites in fucking Pokemon Ruby version, which was the first Pokemon game I played, are tiny, and I could project anything I want to them. So that could have been me, even though obviously I'm playing a lighter skinned character, right?
Yeah.
But like that could have been me. Like, yeah, that could be me, maybe.
Look, I have a red hat right here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's like, so I was okay with like, that's my name, and I'm Alfredo, the Pokemon trainer, and in those games, you know, right? Mm-hmm. And then later when I found out that like, oh, people called that character Ruby and Red, and at first I thought that was stupid, but then I read the Pokemon Adventure manga, and I'm like, no way, it's badass. Actually, it's a really good manga.
Those aren't even their real names.
His name like Brandon or something.
Yeah, Brendan and May.
I don't like that. That's too normal.
What is the name of the male protagonist in Pokemon Black and White? Because I only know Hilda.
That is Hilbert.
Hilda and
those
Hilbert.
That's awful.
Those are the two worst ones.
Yeah, Hilbert and Hilda. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna put my real name instead. I'm good. I was trying really hard to not get on this topic, but it must be discussed. What do you guys think about the overuse of the Killmonger hairstyle in video games?
It is getting a bit carried away. It's turned into noise for me, but when people bring it up, I do think, I wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You should just get more character dreadlocks. That's my only thought.
I need to get more character dreadlocks. I'm still I still default to giving characters big goofy afros. I do need to draw more black people. The only time I do nowadays is when people want me to draw porn of it. So you draw my black character pegging.
That's awesome to know.
This white character. Yeah, dude, you're welcome. I care. I'm an ally. look, look, Black History
Yeah, I
Month.
saw this. It's not a bad hairstyle, but
it's not a bad, but it is kind of overdone.
Yeah.
It's
like there's more black hair out there.
It is kind of like the black guy version of the kind of like lesbian shave hair or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Karen haircut.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Eddie wants to speak with the manager.
So much history of like so many iconic black hairstyles, and we keep defaulting to this. Is this the result of fucking? Is this just what we're seeing in the future for AI when they just give all black characters his hair?
That's all we're gonna get.
Man. Right, exactly.
It's just.
What's interesting in this character's case is that like he had longer dreadlocks in prior designs.
Right.
Who is this? Eddie?
Yeah. Christie's on again, always on boyfriend.
He looked way better before. The fuck did they do to him? Why they do this?
Let me see. Black characters from Street Fighter.
Maybe when what is his name? Not Kazuya. Maybe when Kazuya blew up Brazil, all of Eddie's hair fell out.
Tiger Jackson. That's a Tekken character. That's not.
I don't know if anyone in Street Fighter has this hair. No, well, does Sean have this haircut? I don't think so.
Sean's hair is kind of styled differently.
Yeah, he's got more of a little front. This is
yeah.
Sean,
yeah,
right?
he's got shaved sides.
Yeah, exactly. We need more black guys with the Dudley's hairstyle. And we need oh god, black guy from Workaholics. I need to rewatch Workaholics. That one like Reddit story about the guy who only fucks to that one song, kind of like reminded me of Workaholics, because they did use that song for like they did use that song for like in an episode. Yes. Oh my god, this is someone's dad. Hold up. I need a fighting game character with this hairstyle. I remember this hairstyle because there were so many jokes on the show about this guy's hair.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
There's an episode where they get a new boss at the office, and he's like super awful and annoying, and they hate him, and he makes him change his hair, right? Because he's all like, oh yeah, that's an inappropriate hairstyle in the workplace. And our three main characters are like, oh, that's fucked up. So the next day at work,
that is fucked up.
Then yeah, they try pranking him and whatnot. It gets to the point where the boss gets so mad at them that he pulls out his balls and he like shows it to him like, oh, you want to show me how much of a man you are? And then later at the climax of the episode is that our three main Workaholics guys show up to the office all with that same hairstyle. and they plop out their balls too. Because I think they prank them so hard it makes the new boss quit. So, oh my god, that was a show. That was that little bit of the what would have been
a cheesy core show.
Not cheesy, not necessarily cheesy core, but that show was like during that era. It was very post. Every day I'm shuffling, if you will.
Oh yeah.
It's
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Tigtone?
Oh, I love Tigtone. Yeah, it's got Blake Anderson is on that too. Oh, Tigtone is great. It's like unironically, I'm not joking. It's like adult Adventure Time. Because
that's pretty accurate.
Because it's like a Dungeons and Dragons style world, and the characters are like adults and they're murdering stuff. But they say like this, all their wacky jokes are shit they would just say in like Adventure Time too, as well.
Okay. Gut reaction. I hate how this looks.
Oh yeah, well,
I will probably check it out.
It's very limited, and mostly just the faces move. I think the joke is that everything looks like a Magic trading card, like that's the art style, and it's just like the faces are moving.
I do kind of like when things look like shit. So
10 years ago, when the first pilot dropped, this was cool, but now it's just a joke.
It only got like 2 seasons, which was a shame. I wish it got more. Because it was one of those Adult Swim shows that got quietly canceled.
Which sucks because it was evergreen. Every episode introduced something new and entertaining.
I love the whole bit with this, like when he has a problem, he would think back to this gnome that's implied to be his ancient master. They never say who this gnome is. He just like thinks about it. Like, Tigtone, remember the flute summoned snakes.
Yeah.
And Tigtone's like,
That's a good bit.
Yeah, it is a really like a good show. I wish it I wish it didn't fucking got canceled. I kind of don't. Oh, there's this other character too that like, I think the reoccurring joke is, I'm gonna post a picture of him because he looks like the most anime looking character in Tigtone. He looks like anime character in real life. Like, look at that hair.
Oh my god.
Right. And
oh yeah, he's like the royal guard.
Yeah, he's like the royal guard, and a big joke is that he's constantly like getting shit on by Tigtone. I think he has all these scars because he keeps losing fights with Tigtone, right? Tigtone is very much like if Finn was like an adult and incredibly selfish.
Yeah,
right. It gets like it's a good show. I love it. Only 2 seasons, not too long. I remember I did tweet out saying like, "Oh, Tigtone is just like Adventure Time for adults," and one of the co-creators like saw my tweet. And it's like, yeah, no, I guess you're right. I never seen it like that, but that's pretty spot on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I gotta acknowledge. Finally, this is my in to the Robot Chicken's writers' room. Finally.
Hey, you're that guy that made the Tigtone connection.
Yo,
welcome aboard.
You drew that one comic where Frankenstein is autistic, dude. I think you're what we need in this in this writings room, dude. Oh my god. I fucking I remember, I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago, there was on HBO Max. They did kind of like specials to like, I guess, attempts to revive shows. Mm-hmm. And they did one for Ballmaster, and like that special was very kind of like lukewarm. Like, I feel like I still want another season of Ballmaster, but I think it didn't help that the special was kind of lukewarm, and also the art style change did not help, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the special yet. What happens?
Like, it's just kind of like, it just becomes Gurren Lagann, I guess. Yeah. That's what like the ending of the.
I liked it. But obviously that like.
I still want
very
more.
Different from Ballmasters.
Like, I would have been fine if this was like, episode 1 of a new season. I would have been fine with that. But it's like, I guess the fact that like, everything hinged on if people liked the special, and no one talked about it when it came out. So I guess nope. I guess not anymore. I guess we're not getting any more Ballmasters. And they were doing that for Star King. And I think it did. I think that's
really.
That
I didn't even hear about that one.
Oh yeah, well, God, that one was very like that one was also
with an Amazon gag, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, like literally the main bad guy in the first episode is Jeff
This is
Bezos.
Undercooked.
Yeah, it wasn't undercooked. And I think what sucks is that JJ Villar's art style changed so much, and I'm like, I was hoping like, they're gonna go back to the Tigtone art style, right? And no, the Star King art style, right? But nope, he stuck with it like his new art style, and I'm like, nah, this oof. Oh no, Star King. Yeah, they I'll show you with the new art style was very like, oh no, it felt very like underwhelming. What made Star King so good was like the fucking wacky frenetic shit.
I'm sure it helped in the pipeline, because that's kind of how the Fairy Tales show looked.
Yeah, his Fairy Tale show looked like that. I think like, I'm just gonna stick with this art style, and it's like, no, dude, go back.
What?
Yeah, this is a lot.
This
cool.
Literally looks like one of those like where those joke posted out
like Cal Arts.
We're making a Cal Arts Ed and Eddie.
Right, exactly. That's the fucking vibe. Oh my god,
that's insane. What happened?
It's just that after his like JJ Villar's like Fairy Tale show, this was just his art style, you know. Oh man,
Jesus.
Yo, I totally forgot about. Wait, hold up. post this GIF because I totally forgot about this character. The fucking big titty monster lady. Oh my god! I need to get Gadfly to draw her because that guy would draw anything. That guy will draw anything. Friend of the show, Gadfly. He'll come on eventually, maybe.
This is actually bizarre to me.
The art style change, yeah, it's just
what? Oh my god!
Like it worked for his fairy tale show because like they're supposed to be like simple kind of kid designs, but like in this it's like damn you lost something. Some of the magic
this shit does
gone.
Not work.
Yeah, exactly. The magic is like missing. It's lost its edge, and like I mean there's some things in King Star King that are very like, oh yeah, there's a character called Molestro and he just keeps molesting this princess and you're gonna watch him do that. I mean he's doing it like in a goofy extreme way, but like I don't know. We and like all the other like King Star King side characters don't really show up until like the close to the end of the special, and it's like, damn, we're mostly there with his like family, who's just kind of like, oh, he has family now, you get it? And it's
I almost wonder if the idea is that he wanted to retain some ownership over the original stuff. Like when you're working in a studio setting, there's almost an incentive to not like go all in on certain projects.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was the thought process.
I wonder. I mean, like, I don't know. Like we could say like, oh, they weren't trying, but then it could be fucking revealed. Actually, we were fucking trying. And I don't know. Did you guys see that one tweet where someone like I think said, where someone said like, oh man, that new season of Clone High was ass, and then the writer quote tweeted saying like, well, we were trying our best.
I did see that, yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you're gonna get this criticism anyway, and that new season was ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it could have been better. I saw the inklings of it could have been better in it, and that's.
I was a big defender of it when it was airing, but like, nah, it didn't hit as well as on reflection.
Yeah. Because like
I hate when that happens.
Because I just was watching the old series. As I finished the old series, the new one was dropping. And I jumped right in, and I didn't feel like too much has changed. But then like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just didn't hit. The edge has been lost, and that's a kind of a shame because I feel like I don't think you have to stop being edgy. I think it's just the fear of like offending people.
Yeah.
And like you could still do all the edgy shit. You just gotta like. I think there's a workaround. I just know there is. I got buddies who are so like who talk about like, oh, I'm so scared about putting this in my work, and I'm like, who cares? You just put it in.
Clone High didn't really do anything particularly that would.
Right. Exactly. Even some parts.
There was nothing too bad,
There were some parts that I thought like I'm surprised this character didn't pop up more. Like the whole gay dads. Like they didn't even have like a speaking line in the new one.
That was something they were definitely afraid to show.
Right. There's a lot of like I don't know. It could be just so much things are kind of like scrutinized, and I can't remember.
Did Marie Curie get any lines in the reboot? I forgot.
No, I don't think so. I think she was just like there,
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame because I think we
and Genghis Khan too.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much like what was I gonna say? There's so much fucking things lost,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I forgot how many characters and
you couldn't make Clone High today.
Forgot about this big titty character too. I'm fucking going for Google images. Oh no.
Important
J.J. Villard, bring back the big titty characters.
An important aside.
I forgot they gave this child big titties too. Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
Oh god. I'll don't worry. I'm working. I'm gonna do my epic, awesome ass indie and adult animated series. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be epic. It's not gonna be woke. It's not gonna be woke.
It's gonna be Bongo and Luna animated.
Yeah, it'll be Bongo and Luna. I was thinking about making like a comic where like, oh, we're back, guys, and what should be our new storylines? And all the jokes are like, Bongo has sex with Luna, Bongo holds hands with Luna, and then they have sex, and it's just like different versions of that. And then the last one is like, you continue the comic exactly where you left it off, and they're all like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. The comic's canceled again. I feel like I'm in such a different mindset of where I was where I left it off at that comic, that I'm like not really interested in exploring that story.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
I look at a lot of stuff I wrote when I was younger, and I'm like, I can't use this. I'm literally a different person.
Right, exactly. You know, that's why that's why I say, like, if you come up with a genius idea, just do it right away, because you might not think it's that good in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right? And
true.
Yeah, exactly. That's the cheesy advice of the fucking day, you know. All right, I think
and for free. Usually you have to pay for that.
I think we're close to the ending segment around here. I am thinking about what the ending segment should be, because I kind of don't want to do who deserves to get canceled again. You know.
Thank God I couldn't think of anyone.
Yeah, I can't think of like.
As a society, we have reached peak cancel. I just found out about TikTok kids canceling each other over like art errors. Like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm old, but this was never cool.
I'm gonna cancel a Spiral. Don't like the way you draw this women, Spiral.
It's just stuff like, Maxwell 3077 drew a drum in the same way I drew a drum.
God,
Kill him.
I fucking hate people that get mad about, like, they're doing my bit. They're doing my bit. And it's like, dude, cut over your fucking self, dude. Like, most likely your bit is not that fucking like original. It's like
there was some artist who was making like he was taking like different series and just like drawing the characters, and like there was in a certain composition there was like the main characters in the front and center, or maybe off to the side a little bit, and then there was like a panel like slashed through diagonally with another character in it. Just and like pretty basic, like I'm making a poster for this show kind of thing. And a bunch of other people started doing it too, and he started accusing people, or someone who was a fan of his started accusing people of copying
him. That's stupid.
I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but that fucking pissed me off.
It sounds like
that was like 2 years ago,
like,
and I still
trying to own
it.
a compositional choice.
That's
sad.
I was watching a video on a retrospective on the band Mr. Bungle, and if you don't know who Mr. Bungle is, you're not a real clown.
Oh man, get learned. I know who Mr. Bungle is.
Hell yeah, exactly. Mr. Bungle is very crucial to clown knowledge. It's like our Bible, but nah. But they were talking about they had beef with Red Hot Chili Peppers, because the lead for Red Hot was accused, the lead of Mr. Bungle, for copying like his bits like on stage, right? Which is kind of like, who fucking cares, right?
Yeah.
But also it got to the point where like Red Hot Chili Peppers didn't like them, that like there was like a Europe tour, and they were headlining with Mr. Bungles, and when Red Hot Chili Peppers found out, they said like, either we leave or they leave, and Red Hot was like the bigger pull, so they dropped Mr. Bungle. And you know what Mr. Bungle did in response? They fucking did a live performance in the lead, like the lead singer of Red Hot's like hometown, where they dressed up like Red Hot Chili Peppers and did bad covers of their songs. And that did not help them more, because that also got them kicked out of an Australian tour, also because the Red Hot Chili Peppers heard about this and they're like, no, fuck those guys. And this is all super funny and we can laugh about this now, but unironically, that was kind of like, that did not help their careers. That kind of like prematurely ended like their, like, the band still technically exists, but all those guys are like involved in way bigger projects now, so
Yeah.
It's very it's very like we would have gotten maybe a longer Mr.
No one's
Bungle
getting
run.
the band back together to do another shitpost album.
Yeah, I think we're good. Right. Exactly. So I'm canceling Mr. Bungle haters. Oh my god. Yeah, what's any people annoyed you recently? Any fucking let's call them out. Let's dox them right now. Any people, any kind of person?
I dislike forum mods that police the way I talk. Like the way I talk verbally is very different from how I type. And it's just because the way I was trained to type is, I guess, very different from how everyone else was. So I'm formulating thoughts as I'm speaking them. But when I'm typing, those thoughts get formatted in a different way. And every day I'm talking and a moderator shows up and says, can you simplify this? And I'm like, no, even if there are simpler words to say this thought, this is how I'm thinking it. I'm sorry, but also not sorry because I've already put the thought into words.
Could you not sound like
just
a
very
huge
frustrating.
idiot? Is that what they're saying?
No, they're like saying, oh, this is a bit too complicated. You did not need to use that word or format the sentence in this way. It's sort of like too long didn't read, but on hyperdrive.
Gotcha.
2 sentences too long. Meanwhile, everyone else is just posting memes. I think that's why it frustrates me, because we now live in a society where entire thoughts are conveyed with image macros. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Stop it.
I think it kind of reminds me of like, I guess I'm the opposite end. I'm on Team Forum mod, I guess. I love my partner, but they do this one thing where they assume people know the abbreviation for Five Nights at Freddy's is FNAF, so they'll just casually say FNAF and just assume the person knows what they're talking about. Right, and that's just a distillation of like the like and this is not like a problem my partner has. Like I love my partner, and it's just something that like
keep doubling down on that. Gotta make it clear.
I love them. I swear, I love them. Oh god, I swear. But it's like sometimes as someone who was bullied for being a nerd, I think it does help to try to like don't assume everyone knows nerd shit. I guess right. It helps better with conversations.
I am very conscious of that whenever.
Oh yeah, me too. Right, because I don't like. Because, like, I'll talk to someone, and in my head, I'll be like, should I use the word Decepticon or the bad guys from Transformers? And just depending on what I think their level of nerddom is, I'll say, like, oh, like the bad robots from Transformers. Sometimes people are like, oh, yeah, the Decepticons. It's like, okay, cool. So they're kind of aware of that, I don't know how much...
You gotta feel it out.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to cultural artifacts, I mostly just stay out of it. Like, I remember one conversation with some coworkers where we were talking about... people in other departments that we hate. And I just accidentally did a that's my secret captain quote, and everyone just freaked out because they got the reference. And I'm like, no, that's not supposed to happen.
Sometimes that happens with like like, oh man, inappropriate jokes. They didn't get this as a reference to something. I remember quoting like a Donald Glover joke about like his brother liking pizza so much he'll eat pizza off a guy's dick. I think I did a version of that joke to someone because they were talking about how much their sister likes pizza, and I did that joke and they're like, dude, that's fucking gross. What the fuck, man? That's your sister. And I'm like, no, it's a Donald Glover joke. No, yeah, it's like it's shit like that.
I feel like that might have been in poor taste anyway.
Yeah, true, huh? Yeah. Even if it wasn't you know what? You're probably right. And I assume you're right. Yeah, you're correct in this belief of you're correct. But
it's a shame that we will no longer have the ability to experience or rather exercise these sort of grievances through a audiovisual medium, because this is going to be the last season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh man,
I gotta watch that show.
Oh, you should. I know for some people, like they find it tough to go through that first season. I got through it really pretty easy.
It's pretty dry.
Yeah, it's pretty dry humor at the start. I feel like they don't find their flow until like maybe the second and third season is when it's like, oh, that perfect Larry flow.
I did start watching that first episode and I just kind of stopped halfway.
Yeah, it's kind of dry. I recommend people watch like, what's the fucking god there's a season where it's like the Seinfeld reunion season in Curb, right? And
yeah.
I think if you start at season 5, you got to start 2 seasons before the Seinfeld reunion season, and that's pretty much like modern Curb. So that would be like season 5, you know.
Now I'll get through everything. I can't watch anything out of order.
Nice. Yeah, that's me too.
Girls don't like guys who read JoJo out of order.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh fuck. I love that Mother's Basement JoJo reading order. That's awesome. More people should do shit like like weird ass.
I hate when people do stuff like that. Like there's a whole this is the proper way to watch Haruhi Shizumiya. And I'm like, no, just watch it in the order that it was aired.
I need to do like a fucked up like movie order. Like, okay, so watch all of Whiplash, and right before the drum solo scene, pause the movie, watch all of Midsummer, then watch the drum solo, right? And right before the last minute, then go pause the movie, watch all of the Greasy Strangler, jump back into that last second of Whiplash, and you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Now that you mention it, that is kind of how it feels reading some Marvel trades for events.
Yeah, like for
because you're sitting there, you're reading fucking Thor, and then it becomes a Iron Man comic, and now it's like a Dr. Octopus miniseries, but it's drawn like in a very simple cartoonish style. It's like, wait, what's going on?
Man, like when the Marvel MCU first started, I had this idea that I was gonna read like every Marvel comic ever in the timeline order. So I looked up this guide, and it had me like reading some old Thor stuff from like 2013 or no. Was it even when did I even do this? I don't even remember. But like Thor stuff from like 2013, and then like the fucking Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos from 1940.
Oh no! Okay, big mistake there, dude.
Did not get very far.
Because first of all, in MCU, that guy wasn't there during the World War II. And second, he wasn't black.
He was white.
Yeah,
that's a different guy.
No, I think okay. If I had to like give like the baby like way of like, okay, this is how you want to get into these comics. Okay, you don't start with the comic. You fucking go to the public library. You check out a copy of the Marvel Encyclopedia. And you just skim through it. You just read random little biographies. They don't write those biographies too long, guys, so you don't fucking worry about anything.
Mm-hmm.
You find about obscure characters like, Bird Brain, who appeared in the issue of X-Men back when they were on Krakatoa, and fucking just random ass shit. So you just have, because what you need is just a random collection of things that you're tangentially aware about the Marvel universe, and you could casually go into a story, right? Like, you could totally read that issue where Daredevil fights the Mole Man, because you're aware that the Mole Man exists in the Marvel universe, right? So, and you know that Daredevil is a superhero, so this is not too confusing of a thing, you know. That's kind of how I like did it. I feel, and here's my like strong take on if you want to get to Spider-Man, I unironically feel like those Stan Lee, Steve Ditko Spider-Man still hold up. Like that's such easy like superhero stories to read, right?
Required reading.
Yeah. Like you're not gonna. It's not the most amazing ass fights, but like reading those, you're really gonna get like the bread and like this is like this is the template. This is where it all hinges on, and you'll really like understand like
especially because so many of the newer stuff is heavily reliant on it.
Yeah,
like,
true.
You never really see a harsh break. I won't say never, because there is some stuff in the 90s where it's like, what the fuck am I
I think that like every like I've heard people like read there's people who read the entire run of Spider-Man, you know, and it's like I think what happens eventually is that there's a consistent kind of quality that kind of like exist. I also there's a lot of like when people look back and they're like, well, this run wasn't that bad, like. And I think a lot of it's also a reaction to like the movies because they keep resetting Peter Parker to be back in college, to be back in school, right?
Yeah.
And I really want, like, when are we going to get the movie where Peter Parker is like a science teacher, like in a high school?
I loved that arc in the early 2000s where he was a high school teacher and he was just like going on adventures with Mr. Strange.
Yeah, exactly. Doctor Strange.
Oh, fuck yeah. Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
There's one of my first sort of exposures to anything Marvel was I can't remember what it's called. I've tried looking it up.
Oh, describe it.
But
let's see if I can help.
It's this YA book. Maybe it's a little younger. But it's about this kid his mutant genes activate, and he has the ability to turn invisible when nobody's looking at him. So it's just this YA book. It's about him, like, he eventually, like, the climax is him, like, accidentally being on a mission with Wolverine and saving him. I don't remember any more details. That's kind of it.
Was it like was it the Power Pack? Was it? Or...
No, they're actually it's funny because in the back of the book, it just like included a few Power Pack issues.
Nice. Yeah, those Power Pack issues drawn by Guri. Yeah, those were pretty good. That sounds kind of familiar. Because I remember they did like a bunch of like little kind of like small YA collections of books. They did the one about the kid who finds like a Sentinel robot and he reprograms it to like scare his bullies and everyone thinks he's super cool, right?
I did read that one.
Yeah, and then that character does reappear when they start doing Avengers Academy. He's like one of the students, right? It's interesting. I think I've been planning to, and I think I said this before. One of these days I'm gonna do a lecture, and I'm gonna do a lecture on the character of Hank Pym, and I'm planning to read every single comic Hank Pym has ever appeared in, so I can just give the complete history of Hank Pym because I think like those.
It's sorely needed.
I think those would be very interesting as kind of like the PCP. When I say lecture, I mean like a PCP style lecture. In case the audience isn't aware, we're a PCP offspring podcast until I decide that we're not anymore.
if anyone still knows what that is,
right? Exactly. Exactly.
In the year 2024, does anyone remember the PCP?
Yeah, we're gonna be in episode 500. It's like I remember the PCP. Yes, or episode 500. We're gonna talk about
Jesse joke where he said the N-word.
Episode 500, we're going to be recording at the Trixie funeral. Oh my god. But yeah, I think I think it's tangible to read all of like the Hank Pym appearances because he's not that popular. And he's usually like relegated to like teen books usually, and I think think there's something there. I think there's something kind of interesting because it's like, oh, he becomes a bad guy and he's like a hero and he has this huge dilemma, and it's interesting to see how writers like reinterpret that, I was watching a video about a guy talking about the history of Adam Warlock, and like the character is very like the character is so like, oh, the people like, oh, Jack Kirby created this character because he was like trying to see like he was making like, this is his commentary on objectionist belief, like, oh, these selfish ass mad scientists are all like, oh, we don't care about society, we're just gonna make the most powerful being and we're gonna use that to rule over people. But because this powerful like being, the super being they have created is based on objectionist like philosophy, this being is also selfish and does not listen to this mad scientist and destroys them, right? And then he fucks off to space. And then years later, another writer shows up, and this writer is like religious, so he uses Adam Warlock to be like the Jesus for for this place called Counter Earth, created by the High Evolutionary. And there's like half human, half animal creatures on this planet, and Adam Warlock becomes their Jesus. Then the next guy to write for Adam Warlock is a guy who's like who grew up Catholic, and he has a lot of criticism about like Catholicism. So he uses Adam Warlock as like, here's my criticism on religion using Adam Warlock, and Adam Warlock has to fight against an evil cult that that is like run by serial killers. But then the big twist, that's the guy, you know, who's ruling the cult. The cult master is actually Adam Warlock from the future who became evil, right? Because it's a metaphor about like, oh yeah, like, you know, maybe at the start Jesus had good intentions, but his beliefs have been warped and they've been used for evil, right? And it's like, yeah, like look at how this character has shifted for different writers, you know, and I feel like that happens a lot to a lot of characters. It happens like in very like huge ways to a lot of side characters that people that aren't super popular. But I think those are like the most kind of interesting things to talk about in a lecture, you know. I believe I feel like there's some meat on that bone. And even this
Adam, you could make one of these for like every Marvel character.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll just say that I think the most interesting ones would be the lesser popular ones, because I've seen like the videos where like, oh, I read every Spider-Man comic, and it's like, yep, there seems to be a consistency with these Spider-Man comics. He's in New York and he's swinging around. There's never that big of a shift of like, oh, Adam Warlock, he becomes Jesus, then he becomes evil Jesus, you know?
I was actually talking about this a while ago. Marvel on their YouTube channel have been doing these like little mini essays where it's like, here's the Cliff's Notes of a character. But then you do have people like doing larger, more in-depth videos. And if I was like in charge of media for Marvel at that point, I would be doing my own version of that. Like just hire someone to eat the little guy's lunch and do the quote unquote official 6-hour Sentry video or some dumb nonsense like that.
I think what the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, gonna make that eventually.
The one Marvel character I truly actually really care about is Gwenpool.
Oh yeah. Like, what a surprise. Mr. White Woman Wednesday himself.
No!
Yeah, got him. He's been there he is. Arrest this man.
But I don't know. It feels like every attempt to like
follow
sort of
up
use her
on that original run.
It's just not her. It's a completely different character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because like I hate to be like, so like, oh, nobody understands this character except the one person who wrote it originally. But like that seems to be pretty true.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of like annoying thing, you know.
Sometimes I feel super annoying when I say that, but it's true.
Yeah, and that happens.
It's not annoying because there are a lot of instances of that.
Mm-hmm. It's very...
like there's some X-Men writers who just don't get Scott, and then you like get the worst Scott stories you've ever seen.
Sometimes like writers have like grudges against characters. Like, oh, every time Bendis comes back to write Avengers, he's like, I'm gonna make Scarlet Witch become evil again. And like, oh, awesome, epic. And then every time Bendis writes for another character, he's like, I'm gonna make sure this character is dating Kitty Pryde. They have to date Kitty Pryde. Oh, they gotta date Kitty Pryde. Oh, Star-Lord is dating Kitty Pryde. And it's like, damn, dude, stop, please. Stop. Your swag is awful. Someone needs to kill you. Oh God. Yeah, I think it's fucked up, but like the saving grace is that sometimes they create a character that's really cool, and then one of these days there'll be an animated series that will like, you know, condense the formula what makes the character good, so mainstream audience have somewhat of a self-awareness, better understanding of said character. That kind of happened in reverse for Harley Quinn. You know, like she was in the animated stuff first, and then they put her in the mainstream shit, you know. Mm-hmm. It'd be like that. I think that's what Wonder Woman needs. She needs like an animated series to like condense all of her shit, because like the lore is like never consistent. That would probably be a good lecture.
How will you include all of the overt BDSM?
We'll find a way.
Nature finds a way.
With the power of God, we'll find a way. All right, I think we're at the end with this. And anything you want to plug, Spiral?
Check out Indica in Decay. Mm-hmm. Listen to the single Could Have Been Ska. Mm-hmm. Also follow me on Twitter at Spiral_Senshi.
Hell yeah.
And that's it.
And Julian, take it away.
Yep. You already know what I'm going to promote. vqcd.in. It's my website where I keep all of my cool stuff. It gets updated probably every month. If that's not soon enough, follow me on social media. There's a social media page on the website.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm Cheesymanfredo. I'm still recruiting artists for the Diesel project. I am like shifting through the applications, see what we got. From the recording of this video, it is the 15th of January, which gives me like, I think I have 11 more days to figure out who is going to be on this project. And but I'm close, and then we're going to sign their pages and whatnot. And also, I've been in the background. I can't remember if we talked about, I think we talked about this before the start of the podcast. I have been in the right headspace to think of more Bongo Luna comics. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think I might not make it that big of a deal. I don't think I have to restructure. Originally I was like, I might have to restructure everything about my Patreon and whatnot. I'm like, nah, if I just keep it casual, I don't have to do that,
Calling my broker, telling him to go all in on Bongo and Luna stock.
All in on Bongo and Luna stock. Oh, you're going to go bankrupt by the end of the year, buddy. I'm going to be like, 4 Bongo Luna comic ideas, and that's it. That's all you got for this year. I'm still working on a bajillion other things. What the fuck was I going to say? Still out here living, surviving, thriving. You know how it is. And I'm Cheesymanfredo. I think these episodes are gonna be more sporadic, more crazy sporadic. We dropped an episode on Monday. I think as long as I drop an episode a week, I should be good, right? Like I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, like algorithmically?
That's probably how most podcasts do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please give me money. I want to upgrade my phone, and then I want to buy a new pair of shades so I could start doing cheesy after dark videos where I talk about One Piece to the camera. that's gonna
it'll be no talking pirates, but
yeah, exactly. I need to catch up first. I have not finished the Kaido fight.
Oh shit, you're pretty far behind.
Yeah. I'll catch up. I'll catch up. I'm catching up with like One Piece. We just arrived at Shibani Archipelago. Shibani, yeah, whatever. That place. And I think with that, goodbye everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.